Oh, how's it going this morning? Oh yeah, good day to you. So today, I have a new toy. Actually it's a good one because it got delivered to my house and it didn't cost me a dime. One of my spies found this. This came out of a building that it's spring. People are doing things in construction, and a friend of mine, they've got a building they're knocking down, and they discovered this, and they discovered some other stuff in there. So he brought this by, dropped it off, sent me a text, said, "Hey, I left a radio for you on your porch." And he said it doesn't have any tubes, and that didn't tell me whether it was a tube radio that was missing its tubes or it was a radio that never had tubes. I don't know. Anyway, I never asked too many questions. Usually those things are kind of a heads up to, hey, AKA, or hey, I dropped some crap off at your house because we were too lazy to throw it in the dumpster. But a lot of times things work out, and this is a workout one. Now, originally when I got this, there were a couple stings in the tail. This is the way I got it. It's missing the bottom and the top. And so I got a hold of him and went back to the construction site and did some digging around, and I found the tops and the bottoms and a box with the tubes in it and the shields and another little trinket. I'm really glad I went back. This is an NFM 83. This is a FM demodulator that's an accessory that goes with this. So somebody must have been tinkering with this, kind of threw all the parts in a very grotty old box, or it was probably just fine before the weather got to it. Amazingly enough, this thing has actually stood up pretty well. It's got a few chips and stuff, but it looks like it might be a runner. So what I've done so far is just snooped around the bottom. Nothing too major to report. I checked the power transformer and the line cord. It seems okay. And I installed all the tubes. That took a little bit of time. I had to, even though it's labeled on top, I went ahead and downloaded the documentation just to make sure things were going my way. And so far, things seem to be swimming along. So this is a national. This is a 183D. The D version is dual conversion, so this covers most of all of the shortwave radio band and part of the 6-meter band, which is, I believe it's from like 50 megahertz on this machine, 49, 48, 47, about 47 megahertz up to about 56 roughly. So pretty good score actually. So this has a basic shortwave radio features, nothing to write home about. Power, volume, headphones, a standby switch, manual and automatic volume control, radio phono switch, RF gain, and there's a limiter and a phase control for the crystal filters. There's a number of crystal filters, I believe. And either that or they're just standard filtering. There's like 6 of them. Excuse me, 5. A band spreader, main tuning, trimmer, and the signal strength meter. BFO, they call it CW oscillator here. The CW oscillator tuning, or the BFO tuning, and then a tone control. On the back, there's a few things: speaker jacks and antenna jacks. This has a kind of older balanced or unbalanced kind of terminal strips for the antenna. So we're just getting ready to fire it up. I'm going to kick her in the guts here. I'm going to leave the demodulator attachment out. That basically just plugs in a 8-pin jack in the back. This also comes with a box of what do I say? It comes with a jar of Speed. You need that, and some of you may know what that is, some of you may not. That's fine, it's a joke. It's nothing. Okay, what it was is when I was a kid, we had wrestling here in town, All-Star Wrestling, and it was sponsored by a guy named Joe Swyback. I don't know if it was Swyback or whatever. Anyway, he had a little vitamin place downtown. It was Joe Swyback's Jarospeed. All the good stores have it, and he would name all these stores. And actually, I thought about buying some of that when I was a kid. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what it was. It was probably just some vitamins. Hopefully, nothing too dangerous or harmful. Anyway, Joe's gone, and I believe at one time it was Vern Gagne's Jarospeed. So I don't know. Anyway, so much for wrestling. Kind of tried to check as much of this kind of without firing it up as possible. Okay, so we'll go with we'll go down to my broadcast band, and I'll turn one of the local blowtorch stations. We'll go with KFAB. It's 1110. Now the band spreader on this is kind of unusual. Usually most band spreaders are at one end or the other of the dial. This one actually has a mark. It says the word set. So when it's lined up with set, the dial is supposedly calibrated. We're going to turn the BFO off and the tone up high. I've got the Variac here. We'll turn that down. We should be ready to kick her in the guts here. We got radio, we got RF gain up, the limiter and stuff is all off. I guess the good thing about having the tubes out is I actually get to kind of give all the tube pins and the sockets a quick cleaning just for fun. It actually wasn't in bad shape. It's just disassembled, which worries me a little bit. I checked the power transformer and a few other things. I checked some other caps that are kind of notorious bad actors in most big sets. The filter caps I gave a kind of a quick looking over, and the bypass caps for a number of areas in the audio bypass cap. The power supply is a little unusual in this. It's got kind of a negative bias to it, and it's the way that the power supply is built. And if you want me to, I can kind of draw that out or point that out how that works. It's a little different. Okay, so we got power and nothing's happening. So we'll turn the Variac up a little bit. Yeah. Looks like the lights are just starting to light on this baby. Just right there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume all the way up. And we're at about 40 volts. So we'll just come up a little bit more to about 50. And I'm trying to listen and see if there are any pops or crackles coming out of the speaker here. So that's why everything's a little quiet. We'll turn so standby is in receive. I kind of tried to check the switches and stuff on here. Oh, something's going on. The meter is starting to move. There's some crackles.
The calls that we got for a Lucent offer to the
Cool. Looks like we're starting to work. I'm literally about half the mains voltage on this, and it's starting to work.
Well, the calls that we got on that, we had to say, you know what, it looks to me like you better just keep on taking that stream of income as opposed to the lump sum. It's more favorable for you to do that, okay? So lots of decisions to make, right there at retirement. When your company offers you...
Okay, I'm just going to back the voltage down a little bit and let it sit and percolate a little bit. I'll probably flip the thing back up and take a look at the power supplies, ripple and stuff, just to see how it's doing. But it seems to be wanting to work. That's just like I said, it's just on the broadcast band. That's not really a very fair test. It's one of the local blowtorch stations. It's 50 kilowatts. It's probably about 20 miles straight as the crow flies. And it's not a fair test. I probably could get that station on a pair of pliers and headphones. Okay, well, just thought I'd show you that real quick, and we'll do a little exploring when we'll get back to you, see what's happening. How's that sound? Anyway, take it easy. Have a groovy day. Oh, did we die here? Oh, there it goes.
Are very critical,